Here's what you should know about your local housing market in this week's market update. Now, lately, I've been coming across my fair share of investment properties with tenancies. So whether that be multifamilies that somebody has purchased as an investment and has been renting out for quite some time and has decided to sell, or whether that comes to your personal home. I've come across my fair share of people lately that move for whatever reason, whether it's a corporate relocation or whatnot, and either they think that they're coming back in a few years, or they're not sure whether they want their move to be permanent and whether they're going to like it where they're going. So they decide to hold on to their house and to rent it out, or whether they just think it'd be a good investment to keep their house and rent it out rather than to sell it. So I'm coming across a lot of scenarios lately where I'm working with sellers who have been renting out their homes, whether it's an investment property, what was once their primary home, single family, multifamily. And I can tell you that trying to sell your house with a tenant living there is quite a challenge. Selling your home is, we work very hard to make that process as easy as possible, but it can be fairly invasive, and it's challenging enough when it's your own personal home that you're living in, but obviously you have that motivation of you're trying to get that house sold, and you're trying to do all the things that you can to not only get that house sold, but to maximize that value. So if I were to say, hey, we need somebody wants to see your house today at noon, you'll figure out a way to get out of your house even if you planned on being there, because you want that house to get shown and you want to get it sold for the best price possible. However, when it comes to tenants, they do not have the same motivations, even if they intend to be cooperative and are well-meaning. They are, in my experience, much less accommodating, both in terms of accommodating the times that people want to come and see the house, and also the cleanliness and tidiness of the house. They're much less likely to clean up and make sure that home is showing in its optimal light for that prospective buyer. So my advice out there, I had a property that we had to take off the market for a few weeks until the tenant's lease ran out, because selling with them in place just is not feasible. And I have another multifamily now where the tenant has changed their mind a few times on when we can see. So we've had to juggle a lot of the showings, cancel existing showings schedules, and reschedule them. So my advice to you is, number one, if you have a property that you have tenants in place, let's talk about a strategy. It is very likely, as much as you want to decrease that vacancy as much as possible, so it'd be ideal to sell that house with the tenants in place, so that closing takes place shortly after they move out, so you have a very short vacancy period. Ultimately, it is likely in your best interest to have the tenants move out first before putting that home on the market. So, and also, if you have a home that you're thinking of holding on to, let's say you're doing a corporate relocation, you're not sure if it's going to be permanent, and you're thinking about renting out your house for a couple of years, do think strongly about that. It is not just collecting rent. There are not only responsibilities that come with being a landlord in terms of maintaining the property and collecting rent, but there are also significant challenges with selling that home if you choose to a few years later, with tenants living there, as opposed to selling it when you're the one living there. So that being said, let's get into the stats this week and see what's going on in your local housing market. So this past week, we saw 11 homes come on the market. 3 of those were in town and 8 of those were in township. 8 of those were single family homes and 3 of those were condos or townhouses. Average list price of these homes, we've seen that shoot back up this week to $1,312,000. And here's the big number: total inventory. Total inventory we have seen come back up a bit. We're now at 40 homes actively on the market. 40 homes actively on the market is definitely, I would say, a slight relief, but a promising relief. We saw some frighteningly low numbers the past few weeks. So 40, while it is nowhere near where we wish the market would be to have a nice, balanced and fair market, it is still very much a seller's market. It is nice to see that number tick back up and see some relief, and hopefully see some more of that in that direction. Sold homes. This past week, we saw 13 homes sell in Morristown and Morris Township. Average list price of these homes was $1,074,000, and the average sale price of these homes was $1,122,000. So this past week, we saw homes sold for an average of 4.7% above the list price. And they were on the market for an average of 18 days. So we are still seeing very much so homes selling for above list price and significantly above list price, multiple offers, and homes selling quickly. That trend has continued. Despite what we might see in national news and in the national housing market locally, we are seeing very much of the same competition. Under contract, this past week we saw 4 homes go under contract. Average list price of these homes was $626,000, and the median days on market for these homes was 11 days on the market. So thank you so much for checking in this week. I have, in the past few weeks, been stopped by my fair share of people letting me know that they do watch my weekly videos and thanking me and telling me how informative they are. You have no idea how much that means to me. I really do love that feedback. I do everything I can to make sure I can come out with these videos every week. Lately, it's even been getting to the office extra early to get these done ahead of whatever crazy schedule I have for that day. So your feedback is really, really, really appreciated. So thanks so much for checking in. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll catch you again soon.